The main inspiration for that actually came while I had a residency at this venue in Detroit called the Willis Show Bar. And while at the Willis, I befriended two amazing musicians, Kaylin Amin and Tariq Gardner, and we kind of became, the rhythm section for that night. We kind of became a unit. And so the premise of the night was to take songs from different eras and different genres and flip them and sort of, kind of make them our own. And so Rain was kind of tricky because it was already sampling a song called Portrait of Tracy by Jaco Pastorius, and he's this amazing jazz bassist. And so there was a night where I felt like we were a little short on the set, and I remember telling Kaylin, the bass player, hey, can you like take a cadenza up front, just like let it rip, just go as long as you want and give us the signal, and then we'll go. And so that happened, and it was sort of in the midst of when I was kind of formulating this idea for an album in my head, and I knew I wanted to do covers on the album, and so there's 13 songs on the album, and 4 of them are covers, and that was one of them. And so if you listen on the record, there's a song that is right before Rain called Portrait of Rain. So I'm kind of paying homage to both Portrait of Tracy from Jaco and then Rain by SWV. Well, my creative process is very, fragmented. I would describe it. There's some kind of linear path at times. I think when I'm writing a song that has lyrics, I will sit down at a piano, and my computer behind me will be open with just keyboard or Rhodes, just something simple. And then I'll have notes. I'll have the notes up too, and I'll start to write a melody, and I'll start to write the lyrics. And with something like lyrics, I mean, I'd say I kind of struggle at times. It's very difficult to like find good lyrics, and especially being inspired by really great songwriters, people I listened to growing up, like Stevie Wonder or Paul Simon. They all have really amazing lyrics, and so to try and not get too caught up in just the words or too caught up in just the music, I sort of try to find that good balance. And so I really, if it comes to me, I just sit down and I do it. I usually turn the lights off. It'll usually be at midnight or later, and I just go, and however I'm feeling, I just kind of put it on the pen and paper, and then I write out the chords. So my artistic beginnings and background, that's a great question. I was really fortunate to have parents who were musicians, but they weren't professional musicians, but they both played a lot of music around the house. My father is from Indonesia, and he learned how to play all these Western instruments by himself: guitar, piano, harmonica. And my mother grew up in Michigan, and she studied classical viola in college, actually. So she was classically trained, and so she was able to read music, and I'd like to think that, I got the best of both worlds from my parents, learning by ear and listening to my dad play, and then watching my mom play piano. So I'm originally from the great state of Michigan. I grew up in a town called Ann Arbor, and after high school, I moved to Detroit. I went to Wayne State University, and I studied urban planning and music composition. And so from there, I had stayed in Detroit after I graduated, and that's where I decided to be a full-time musician. And I really, I don't think there's a better place I could have done that. I think I was really starting from scratch after college, because studying composition, a lot of my peers, they would go on to get grad degrees, or they would, continue in academia, or I don't know, teach. And I just had no interest in teaching or getting a grad degree at that time. So I really wanted to be a songwriter. I really wanted to compose because I wanted to be like Quincy Jones, right? I wanted to orchestrate and have all those live strings and horns. And so in Detroit, I was so fortunate to be around a lot of legends in music. The history there, I think really, I really love history, and it's impossible to sort of not put any attention to. The Motown Museum is right there on West Grand Boulevard. And so there's also all of these living legends still that in the jazz community, I kind of ventured down the route of learning jazz piano. People who've played with everybody under the sun and toured and come back. And then you also have a lot of young cats from the city, from the area, from the state of Michigan that would come to Detroit. And because jazz is also a huge part of the city, of the musical heritage of the city, I feel like that really played a big role in me seeing older people be successful and then have their life and hear those stories. And it sort of was an inspiration for me to really do better and get myself into gear and really know my stuff, don't keep faking it. So I definitely feel like Detroit is home for me.